Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another update for PFWolf. It's only been about 3 months since my last update, and yeah. So, how about the monthly updates I was talking about? I saw this as a slide in the previous notes that I had, and I went, "Oh, shoot, I forgot." um, Kind of blame newborns on that one. They make you forget pretty easily. It's been a pretty busy time, and time just gets away with or away from you on that kind of stuff. So instead, I've been active on Discord. I been messaging and showing off little bits of progress on a Wolf 3D Discord channel that kind of has a channel for me to talk about stuff that I've been working on or what I'm thinking or just questions to be asked. And I'm pretty good about answering a lot of it and maybe finding out and explaining it. So it just kind of gives me that in between with some of the other projects I've been really wanting to work on, which we'll get to the end at this video. But so far, that's probably the best intermediate solution. So progress on the game, absolutely, big time. Not on the PF Wolf specific components, but I decided to just port the code to C# directly. Everything is pretty much one to one. It's everything's static, which means that it's all defined in one space, and it's pretty rough, but it works, and it is about 95% complete. It functions. You can play the game. You can do things. You can pretty much do the exact same things that you can do in the standard SDL engine. Outside of the music sounding absolutely atrocious, and ad lib is not quite there. Those are the sounds like when you pick up your ammo and your health and things like that. And then there's a couple of just random bugs, just because things don't quite translate 100% to C# the same way as the C code worked. It was also a pretty funny puzzle to find those types of things out. So what's next? What I'm going to try to accomplish in the next month or so. I want to finish the IMF music, the ad lib. I just need to sit down and study the side by side, understand what's going. Oops, uh, and I'm sure I'll figure out what's going on. I've just got probably some weird numbers off. And then I want to fix a few bugs before we get too far along. And then I want to try something in the shift of starting to add things to the program called data extraction. So, what is data extraction? That is where the code stores all of your sprites, your music, your sounds. It just stores a list of all of those things, and that's how it matches it up to the files. And one of the things I was doing in the PFWolf engine was I have like a file in the PQ3 file that kind of references the order. And really, all you need to do is just I want to be able to call a string of text. It's called to get this sound or that graphic or whatever, and then that would translate into the number of where it's stored on the vswap file or the map or whatever it is. Things. So I also saw that I had this slide from the previous um, update, and I was like, "Oh, how was I supposed to accomplish all of these in a course of a month?" And I went, "Wait a second, no, these are 2026 goals. These are for the whole year, and these are the goals I still want to do for the whole year. I still want to push for those monthly updates. I always say that I want to do monthly updates, and I never do, but I do want to do that, especially if I'm making progress. I want to show it off, and I want to have each. I don't want to have like a broad, well, I did all this stuff, and here's one little video of it. I want to say, yeah, look at all these cool things I did in the course of 1 month. Or if I only did one thing, I want to show that thing off in particular, saying, hey, I still did things this month. Um, but it kind of will be hit or miss depending on how my schedule works out because I am pretty busy. I've got a lot of personal life things that keep me on my toes. So I still want to do Let's Plays for YouTube, but it's hard to find time to do those, especially if I want to do something like 100%. It just takes time to go through the game and make sure you come up with a strategy, and then, okay, now I'm going to play it. And if you fail it, then you got to do it over again and again and again. It just takes time. So it's like, do I want to do blind runs? Do I just want to do 100%? I really don't know. For now, those are just going to take a backseat until I get more important things done. Um, Streaming. It would be late night. Like right now, it's later in the evening, and this is probably the first time I've gotten to sit down and record something. So it'd be something like this. And I don't want to set my expectations too high. I could do it for an hour, I could do it for 2 hours or whatever. And maybe I don't want to do it for too long just to kind of start getting into the groove of it and maybe do the development streams of this particular program, kind of like what I was doing with Midnight Assault. So that's something to think about there. And then lastly, I still want to work on those how it works videos. I've got one that I've started, I've got script. I want to make sure that script is the right script that I want, um, and just get it flushed out as best as possible. And then I got to teach myself a little bit better about video editing and all the kinds of things that make videos really flashy, showy, and all that kind of fun stuff. And I've got some ideas, but we're getting there. But now I do want to show you a compilation of all kinds of fun um, things that came up in the development as I was uh, doing the work over the last, I'd say, 10 weeks or so. So, time to have a look. All right, so I was able to record my own demo and get it to play back. So we're gonna show it here and speed it up a little bit because we don't want it to go on forever. So I think it was pretty neat to be able to see it sync pretty solidly. Next up is I'm going to show you some push wall glitches we were having. There's a little bit of a spring in the walls. They're a little bit rubbery looking. Simple fix, just missed some code in there. Got some really nasty PC sounds as I was working on them. They sound like they're almost there, but they're not quite right. They're very choppy. Next, we're going to show IMF. Kind of sounds old-timey in a way. So I feel like I'm just missing some things. And this initial one is it's really, really fast. And it sounds like it's got all the stuff in there. It's just really fast. Until it crashes. Now here I'm going to show you just a full demo of all the options. We'll speed it up to make it pretty quick. Going to show you through the menus. Everything that exists today is the same. They'll change as the engine starts getting built out, but everything is pretty much one-to-one of what SDL has to offer. And then I get to show off some debug keys at the end. And then at long last, BJ victory. Hooray! So I've got a couple of funny screenshots that I also took along the way. This is actually in the PFWolf code, and it kind of brought up a question of, hey, can we have diagonal push walls where they go, instead of north, south, east, west, they go like northeast or non-cardinal directions, I believe. And here's an error. It says diagonal push walls are not yet supported. Thought that was pretty funny. So next up, we've got some early progress of the engine where my doors weren't showing up. And some other ones, I don't know what I was going for in this, but I think the frames were saying 60 when they really meant 70. I don't know why they were off, but yeah. Um, then we kind of had a weird little graphical glitch with the tile 8s where they weren't showing up correctly. You'd see on the left there, that's what it looked like in my game, but on the right they looked like this. And it had something to do with some division by 4 or some weird stuff like that. But this one, what do we got here? Is this? Oh, yes, this is the config file. Looks like a bunch of numbers and everything. This is binary. Well, this is actually hex values of the binary files. And what I'm trying to do is match them up. And all the ones that are white, they're matching up value for value. You can kind of see in there, you see id Software, Adrian Carmack, John Carmack. That is the high scores and their values. And then you see a couple of values that are yellow on the bottom, meaning that they weren't quite lining up. So that was fun to kind of figure out what was going on there. And then did a little bit more work, and oh, then now I'm only down to this one little thing, and I realize that 212 there is actually the settings for the sounds, and I hadn't implemented it yet. And so on mine, they were all zeros, meaning they were turned off. So easy fix, or not really a fix, just not there yet. Storm got a good joke out of this dummy joystick port. These are placeholders in the original code for some old Joyport 2 and things like that that just don't exist in SDL today. Let's see, what else do we got here? I don't even know what half this stuff is. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Oh, don't know why I have those pictures. Took screenshots of other things, thought there'd be some more interesting things, but that seems to be it. Awesome. Enjoy the rest of this, and I'm glad I was able to share it with you.